Dream team, what up?
Hello.
Hi.
Hey. It's so fun to have you guys on this end.
Yeah, it is fun.
Heart of the City team. Here we are, the trio.
Yes.
Cameron,
Nice.
what's like, I just need to know from your view, what was like your first memory of me / us like pitching this and being like, hey, we kind of want to do a podcast. This is what we're thinking. I mean, I don't even remember.
I don't really remember either. I know our initial talks were like doing stuff for the Scout Guide, but then like, I don't know. I feel like I'm always like open to new ideas too.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I know. I felt like it was like
let's
so fluid. Like
Yeah.
it just happened.
I feel like at first there wasn't like crazy planning. Maybe you had thought about it.
No, probably
And-
hadn't pulled Sallie in
Yeah,
early
and
enough.
probably just like, let's do it, and lined it up and did it. I think our first talks about it were in like February. And then
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We filmed in March.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you and I first started talking about it because Casey pitched it to
Yeah.
us,
That's
Casey
Casey's
Yoshida.
idea.
And he was like, I really think you need to start a podcast. And then I remember for a while, actually, this is why it didn't seem like a lot of planning. Because for a while, it was my harebrain talking to you. And then Sallie kind of kept being on the sideline. So like this podcast. And I'm like, yeah, the podcast. And then finally she was like, Amy, I need you to tell me, am I involved in the podcast or am I not involved in the podcast? I'm like, of course you're involved in the podcast. What do you mean? And she's like, okay, well then fine. Now I know I'm involved in the podcast. And then the planning probably started coming because,
Yeah.
you know, me without Sallie, not a lot of planning.
I don't know about that.
But it came to fruition really fast.
It did. It almost feels like
Yeah.
I think about it now and like I, you know, obviously consume a lot of podcast content and like watch a lot of the bigs on, you know, social and stuff. And like, it's funny how little a lot of them started like in their basement with like
Totally.
their phone and a mic, probably off Amazon.
Yep.
And I feel a little bit like impostery because I'm like, I mean, we started with like all the bells and whistles. Like,
So yeah, that's something definitely noticed going in when we're talking about, you know, analytics and like people viewing and how many guests we have on our followers on Instagram. It's like our quality is, we put a lot of effort into
We
that
do.
from the start.
thanks to
Like,
you.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they just kind of just, like you said, pick up a mic and maybe a cheap camera and do it in their
Yeah.
house, right?
Yeah.
Which it works.
It works, totally.
It works. And I think even the biggest podcasts now, they have a platform, but like it takes a long time,
Yeah,
like to grow
Totally.
the right way.
totally.
But I think we've definitely started on a proper foot.
I know. I was excited about that. I remember that feeling like one of the nuances I cared about the most because it just felt like it was getting really saturated. Like everyone was kind of doing a podcast, which again is great. And it's awesome that you can start it from anywhere. But I really valued it having like the right production quality, I think, especially just for the sake of the like the caliber of guests we have on. You know, I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure they felt really well represented and like it was really a you know, positive piece of exposure for them. And I feel like that is one thing I get comments on the most is the quality, which is awesome.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As a viewer, if you're
Yeah.
listening or watching a podcast and you're like, man, they really put emphasis into the quality, that means they really care about it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like, you know,
Which speaking of, like I would not be here without you guys. So why are you guys here? Like, why are you motivated? I mean, obviously it's a working relationship, but to be fully transparent, this first year we're running on very little. Like it's not like we have a ton of funds for this or this is like a business. We don't charge people to be on the show or on the podcast. So, you know, it's like we're all kind of starting in this like startup mentality. And it's like, what do you guys care about this? Why is this something you're interested in?
Yeah, I'll go. I think for me, it's through the Scout Guide. Like, I have really grown a love for local business, specifically in Chattanooga, obviously. And just the whole idea of, like, these stories that exist behind, like, these places that we're, like, walking into every single day or, you know, that have become a part of our world. But no one has heard these stories. So, like, there's just so much behind the scenes and so much that goes into, like, owning a small business. And I think it was honestly just more of the concept for me that I was like, man, this is a great project that I want to be a part of.
Yeah, I think mine reasoning is along the same lines of that, but a little different is I learned that part. through maybe a few episodes, I'm like, man, this is bigger than just
Oh, cool.
a
Like you didn't
podcast.
even know.
Right. So the initial thought was like, I find like liberation in starting something with someone from the ground zero. I think that's cool. I think
Love that about you.
because then you can look back and be like, man, we grew it, and it's like I was a part of it from the beginning.
So
And it
cool.
could be any like project or
Yeah.
any endeavor or whatever. It's like, man, like let's start this thing. Like let's go through the challenges and the hoops and the fun parts and the annoying parts and learn and all the things
The
like
late
that.
night texts and the
Right,
disagreements
right,
and the
and maybe the annoying technical difficulties occasionally or something.
Yes.
It's like you learn and you grow and
Yeah.
you work as a team and you build
Right.
something cool. And that's the learning part that I found.
Yeah.
That's what I was alluding to was like you then learn that it's like, man, people are resonating with this as viewers, and then the guests they get to share their story, and it's bigger than just why I wanted to be on there or
So true.
or monetization. It's bigger than all that stuff.
Totally,
you know?
totally. Okay, so Amy Walters is the host. Sally Tipton is what I would call the producer. Is that what we call you?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Maybe.
But I
Sure.
mean, Sally, tell us a little bit about, I mean, you're very heavily involved in this. I mean, you have blown me away. I've worked with you for years now, and you, of course, are like my right-hand woman with the Scout Guide. But with this podcast, I've just been really blown away by how much you have dedicated to it. You've taken it so far beyond where I even imagined it would be. I mean, I don't know. I could kind of get emotional thinking about it, but tell us a little bit about like what your role in this looks like.
Yeah, so I help you and I sit down and we go through and, we're curating these guests, from a there's a standpoint and there's a reason that the people that we ask to be on the show. And I think from there, I just kind of dive in and I do any research I can do and really think about like what we know about them to begin with and what we don't. Some people we know more about, some people we don't. So there has to be a starting point from that, and then just diving into like what is interesting about this person, what is interesting about this business, or the way this person runs this business, and how can we like pull deeper into that and really get to the background and the behind the scenes that nobody's seeing. And I just think that's a very interesting. I don't know. There's just always to me. There's always more to pull out of somebody or to learn about somebody that we don't know.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just been a fun part of this for me.
Yeah,
for
your
sure.
creativity has really shined in this in that way. Just trying to navigate around, not getting too repetitive with our questions and
Totally.
not, kind of always taking the same angle, like really keeping it mixed up, keeping it fresh. The research, I mean, it takes a lot of hours. And
Yeah.
then not only are you doing all that prep with me on the front end, but you really have you've taken initiative really and kind of insisted to have more of a hand on the back end. While Cameron obviously does all the editing, he's our director, he shoots it, you're kind of over the quality and the production of it. You still have like a very big passion to like review everyone, listen to it, make sure it's going to flow, and those are things like I don't ask you to do. So that's just like really, it means a lot.
Thank
People
you.
might view this as like my podcast because I'm the host, but it's our podcast. I mean, we wouldn't be here without any one of us. And okay, Cameron, so tell us a little bit more about what directing looks like for something like this.
Yeah. So, and this will play in a lot into Sally's role too, is that I, like you said, in charge of visuals ultimately, making sure maybe not visuals, yes, visuals, but quality. So
Yeah.
audio, visuals, and then editing, right? So making sure lighting, camera is all the best it can be. And the best scenarios, make sure everyone sounds good, and make sure the editing side of things is, trendy, catchy, but also informative and all
Yeah.
the things like that. And really, I need to hint on what you said about Sally's role is that her role is probably the most important one.
I would agree.
And I'm serious because you have and you need to have that unfiltered eye and ear
Yep.
to where, because I'm focused on visuals, audio,
Composition, all
making
the
sure
things.
everything sounds and
Technical,
looks
yeah.
good, and Amy's focused on being the host, and she's focused on client relations and the guest relations rather. And so as the producer, you have to make sure everything's running smoothly and make sure the topics are good, or the questions are good
Yeah.
and relatable, or what have you. And so you're almost like, I wasn't a middleman, but like you are like I said, the unfiltered eye in here.
Yeah.
And
You're the top dog.
yeah, because in the best way possible, there's been times where I'll set something up or edit something, and you'll have to give the counter, or
Yeah.
Amy will be like, hey, let's talk about this. And you're like, that's probably not good, or that's great.
Yeah.
Or like, you have to have that, you have to be that ears and eyes, because if you don't, then like something may go wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
You're
Then-
so
I'm
strategic.
trying to think through every decision, whether it's an edit of a teaser or a
Right.
question that we're putting in there,
Yes.
from every single viewpoint, the viewer, the
Yes.
person being interviewed, the host. Like, I want to think through like how everyone's going to perceive something, and then also like, how it's going to affect
Be in the
people
best
watching
light.
it. And
Yeah, you've caught some really great strategic calls that have, I think, really made a difference in how we've shed light on either the guest or myself, or, just in how we phrase things, or like what to touch, what to not touch. Like, of course, we want to get to the heart and the meat and the raw and the core. But at the end of the day, we are still people. We are still human. We have fragility. Like, there's just certain boundaries that maybe aren't worth crossing unless they're willing to go there. And the way we can ask that can open the door, but not push it. So all that stuff we're thinking about. It's like, it does take a lot of prep, and it's not just like off the cuff sitting around having a cup of coffee with these people. Like, we want it to feel like that, but
Yeah.
it does take a little bit more.
Yeah. What I also love is that any and all of us are able to speak on the other person's role. Like, we leave it
Totally.
open-ended.
Yes.
Like if I have a visual, or I'm like, hey, this lighting looks good, what do you guys think? Or you have a question, you ask, what do we think? Or you're like, hey, this idea, what do you think? You know what I mean? Like, we care about each other's opinion as well.
Trust each other. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's always good from a different perspective.
I agree.
Because I'm not thinking about what questions to ask all the time. So if
No.
you ask me about a question, I'm like, oh, I can give a
Totally.
outside perspective kind of thing on a topic
Yeah.
for a guest.
I'm curious, Cameron, do you feel like, because I know, Sallie and I probably sometimes tend to be a little bit more of a unified front because we have worked together longer, we're together more often, we work on multiple projects together. I know sometimes we've pushed back on certain, like, kind of the way we work is like, you send us the edit for the, week coming up, the teasers, whatnot, and like we're reviewing those. Sometimes I'd say like 80% of the time they're bangers, but there has been like that 20% where we're pushing back, we're like having a lot of back and forth of like, this could be stronger, or like, could we have taken a different angle? Do you feel like where we've landed has ended up always being the best route, or do you look back at a couple and you're like, man,
I think 99% of the time.
yeah, that's cool.
So the majority.
That's cool.
The majority, every time you've given your 2 cents, it's been
Yeah.
been the best.
Yeah.
Or better.
That's awesome.
I think maybe there was one time where we're like going back and forth or something. We're like,
and it
hey,
just
I
felt
really
a
don't
little
think,
nonsensical, like we're overthinking
right,
it.
I really don't think this is good or something.
Yeah.
But there was definitely a light bulb moment, especially I think the edits was probably
Yeah.
the real kicker, because we're all on social media.
Yeah.
And so like we're all trying to figure out, hey, what's the best way to show everyone
and catch people's attention and yeah.
stuff. And some of us can have different opinions on how to catch people's attention. Like, you know what I mean? Like for me, working in the visual space and cinematography space and maybe the short film space to go even broader is like I like to let shots breathe a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
I like to let conversations flow. And like sometimes I hate and disagree with the way social media is ran.
Yeah,
but
so
but
choppy.
that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
My opinion doesn't matter in that sense, because that's how social media works. Right? And
It's
so-
hard to like really swallow that social media isn't a platform for art. No. Social media is a platform for content.
And that's my
And it's
goal.
very different. And it's
Right.
hard. Like
I
I have an artist in me too. And so it's like, I struggle with that. I mean, that's why some of my social media platforms are having an identity crisis as well, because Sallie pushes me to be like, hey, this is the type of content we need to be producing. I'm like, no, that's cringe. And she's like, sorry, it's what's working. So do you want it to work or not? And it's just
no,
hard.
literally.
It's hard.
Literally,
Yeah.
my personal page, people are like, you should post like, BTS versus The Shot on the sets you do. And I'm like,
Like,
I don't
oh,
wanna
just like
post iPhone.
everyone else?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
wanna do that.
I
Like-
know.
Yeah.
It's hard. Okay. What are your guys' like most memorable guest interview we've done? Like what sticks out?
So the two off the top of my head that I really
Don't pick two. We
pick
have
one?
to pick one too. You're gonna steal it. I'm just kidding.
I have to pick one. Okay.
I'm just kidding. You can pick two.
I was like, wait. I really resonated with the most recent one with
Wow.
Jennifer Edge, yeah. And
Love.
then the other one was Laith.
I knew you were gonna say
Lace
that.
was good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lace
and
was
like,
great.
man, Lace one, man, he was sitting here. I was like locked in. The whole
Just
time. It was like the hour
locked
podcast.
in. Yeah, that was the longest one we've had.
And we're just like,
There were
Yeah.
tears, there was laughter, there was shock, there
Lord.
was it had all the factors for
yeah.
sure.
And I think Jennifer Edge's one really solidified to me that the podcast is bigger than just storytelling, right?
I love
bigger
that.
because she was really talking about community and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, she
And
makes
it's like
it-
saved her. Like you can
Yeah.
tell. Like
That's what I'm saying.
that's what's wild is it's like it is why she gets out of bed every morning. Yeah.
And I'm
Wow.
like, and we're able to give a platform for her to speak on that.
I know. And
Yeah.
shed light on
Super
that.
sick.
Sweet. What about you?
I think the one that sticks out the most in my mind, at least for me, the moment it was like one of the moments that I realized like, okay, there's something to this. Was Olivia Records because
I
she
loved
just
hers too.
I mean, that was an interview we went in thinking it was going to be one thing, and she just felt comfortable enough to open up about something personal that she had gone through. And I mean, we know Olivia, but like not overly well. Like we
No.
didn't even know that about her, and she felt safe in this space to like share that with us.
That was so
and
special.
Dive into like what that looked like in her business, which I think is like truly the heart behind like what Heart of the City is. Like, I think the ones that do best are when people feel safe and like vulnerable and like willing to
Agreed.
open up and be like, hey, I'm a business owner, and sometimes like my personal life can make that really hard.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, like we're all humans.
We're all
and we're all
human.
just doing our best.
Right.
And being a business owner is not easy. It's very hard. I mean, I'm not a business owner, but I watch
kind
you
of are.
guys be
Yeah.
one, and like I know that it's not an easy path to choose,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so rewarding. And I think the interviews that we've had, and the most of them, I think that
Mm-hmm.
have been just raw and vulnerable and like given that was just like an eye-opening moment
Yeah.
for me, for her to be like, wow, she's coming on and sharing something she doesn't have to share. Like we didn't even ask her about it.
Agreed. Yeah, that was such a
And-
pleasant surprise.
Yeah, and yeah, it was just I was kind of like, wow, people are feeling like this is a safe space and like this is important
Yeah.
stories to be told.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
was
that's
cool.
that's what speaks volumes on this is like if they can come in here and do all that,
I know.
then we're doing our job.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lath's stands out to me. I think also probably Christine's, just because that was such a premeditated in like the right way, just with her story and wanting to share such a big, journey that she's walking right now, and like wanted to use the podcast as the way she like told the world. Like a lot of her friends didn't even know she had that diagnosis. So yeah, I think just again, like going back to that trust that people
Yeah.
have with us and are like willing to get on here and feel safe enough to share in that way is just really, it's
been-
humbling.
Surprising, but it's lovely. Like it's one of my favorite
Yeah.
parts of this. So
Yeah.
Is that your biggest surprise? Kind of the trust and safety people
probably,
feel?
yeah. That would be maybe the most surprising.
Yeah.
Minus just the people in the wild being like, "Hey, are you the host of Heart of the City?"
I know, it's cool. It's been so fun. I'm like, oh, people see it, people know, like
Yeah.
people listen. Especially when people say they like, oh yeah, I watch it every week. I'm like, oh, you're watching, you're not just listening, because I've had a lot of people be like, is it really worth you guys videoing this? Like even my husband is like, couldn't you guys just record this? Like, why do you need to video it? I'm like, shh.
Right.
But like, it's like, I think it's like hitting
that
people's
part is-
senses and
I think that part is setting the tone though, too.
Totally.
So when it does blow up and grow,
Yeah.
the way it will,
when it does,
right?
when it will.
not if when, we've already have that.
Yeah, that is exciting. I know. I think my most surprising thing about this has been honestly just how rewarding it is to sit and talk to people with like without our phones, without some big agenda. Like having the 30 to 45 minutes to truly just sit and connect with someone across the room, it actually has made me really realize how little I do that in a day, in a week, in a month. Like, I'm a people person and I'm in the people business, yet how often am I going and actually sitting and just getting to converse and like hear someone's story and their passion? Usually it's an agenda. Usually we're in a meeting and there's like a something that we're trying to get to at the end. Like the fact that we just get to sit here and share and like really just get to the heart of our why we're living out our purpose on this earth. I mean, that has surprised me a lot because I think it's really made me stop and pause and go, how much actual human connection are we doing even? You know, it's like we're like hustling on our phones, sleeping, getting up, doing it all over again.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. So that part's been like really just fueling for my soul, I think.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's like a long lost art. It's
Yeah.
like just real, true conversation.
Yes.
And asking people about what
Because
they
there's
do.
no agenda when we sit down. I mean, yeah, we have questions loosely that we, you know, sometimes refer to on note cards, but a lot of times, like, it's not like I'm trying to get some specific something or we are trying to get something specific out of them. Like, a lot of times we just like go with the flow of like where it takes us. And yeah, it's really cool. Has anything surprised you?
It's going back to the whole, like the why about what I figured out throughout the podcast, which was like, you know, what did I say?
It's just so much bigger than just like a production that we're putting on.
It's not just, oh, let's just start a podcast. I think it was just the realization that, man, we really are giving these people a platform.
And
to
it
speak.
makes a difference. Yeah.
Like every episode, it teetered that line closer and closer to like, man, this is really resonating with people. Like, like you say with Christine, with her story, and like Laith, I mean, and then like I said, Jennifer Edge and stuff, and like, I mean, and all the ones in between. It's solidified that surprise. That's like, man, this is not just a normal podcast. Because, I mean, all podcasts are good ideas, I think, but you know, a lot of them, I think don't have like a meaning or message behind of what they're trying to achieve. And like we do.
We have a purpose.
We have a purpose, right? To share their stories. And like, and everyone that's been on this has been able to.
Yeah.
That's
So,
sweet.
Yeah.
So sweet. I love it. One of my favorite parts about our time together is when the when the guest leaves and it's like, okay, how'd we think it went? Like we're all like polished and up and on and like, okay, bye. Yes, thanks so much for coming. And then it's just like this silence. And then it's like the minute that door closes, okay, what'd you guys think? How'd it go? It's like we're like a pressure cooker and then it's just like explodes.
Or in the beginning, we're like, Amy, you're being too tense. Chill.
Oh, that's actually
We've
wow.
had some media training.
We've had some media training. Amy was a little tense to start out. Sorry to our earlies. Who were they? Like Zach and Courtney and Charlie and like,
Cole.
yeah, bless Cole. Yeah, we had some.
Or that was a big that was one of the learning curves, I think. And then the other learning curve was the whole sticking to times or sticking to questions or like topics. It's
Totally.
Didn't have too much of a roadmap.
right.
Yeah.
Like, and I think the first one we had like a journal
50
full of
note cards. Oh my God. I used to have so many note cards and I would sit up the night before after my kids went to sleep and I'd be handwriting every bullet and every question.
Yeah.
And finally, like after probably 5 months of doing that, it was just like, first of all, Amy, you can abbreviate. Like you literally don't have to write verbatim every question and you're still going to remember what the heck this is. It was funny. It was almost like I felt like I wasn't going to make it through the interview. I didn't do that process. And after getting through one set of interviews without those, it's been so freeing because like we don't need to be as married to the cards.
No, it'll flow.
Yeah, it has. It's flowed. It's crazy. And so it's funny to think like Thanksgiving next year, what will we be talking about looking back on
100%.
today?
That's crazy.
You know? Well, so thankful for you guys. One of my favorite parts about us is something you kind of touched on, but just to reiterate, it's like, honestly, y'all's humility in this teamwork means so much to me because the fact that we do have our own individual roles and we're not afraid to get feedback and constructive criticism from someone else in another role is, I do just really appreciate that level of like mutual respect we have for each other. And it just makes this work really well. And yeah, I know that not every day is just like rainbows and butterflies. And sometimes it's kind of a grind and it can be a lot of back and forth, but I think we're doing something really special. So
I think so too.
proud of
Yeah.
us.
Yep.
Yay. Thankful.